Hey everyone, MTest here, and today I wanted to go over some of your biggest Genshin Impact hot takes. One of mine, Diluc actually looks quite a bit better with his bald head. Now, let's get into it. I'm going to just scroll down, look at what you have to say, and see if some of you are a little weird. If some of you are a little off, okay? I might roast you. But also, I have some of the worst takes in Genshin Impact history, so there's always that. But first, this video is sponsored by Dragon Raja, and right now they're doing their 3rd anniversary in-game. If you want to get yourself some amazing rewards, check out an MMORPG with 13 different classes to enjoy, some bosses to fight, and some other people to game with, then click the link down below and get started today with Dragon Raja. Because if you don't, you're going to miss out on all the anniversary rewards. Players that jump into the 3rd anniversary can get limited time outfits, avatars, and motors like the Phantom Lord and Sakura Pupil. The open world is expanding with a new map area called Cambridge, and there's a new class called the Shadow Fencer available right now. So what are you waiting for? Click that link down below and get started today. Now, some of these are just fact. They're not even hot takes. Long world quests that consist of multiple different parts, like the Aranaka quest, should be voiced. Duh! Of course it should. These are huge pieces of content. We're talking like 5, 6, 7 hours sometimes of exploring and questing and meeting people and talking. And you read endless amounts of text. Personally, I just made a clip about the Thunderbird. I can't even remember. Surumi Island, I think. I just did that quest. Well, it's an old clip, but it's not voiced. It was such an awesome quest, and I think that some of the grandeur of it is lost because it's all lost within the text, and people's eyes glaze over. Glaze over? Sure. Character story quests should have been about characters' backstory and development. I agree. I think that there's a lot of cool characters in the game, and sometimes they really dumb them down, or they make it like they're obsessed with your character and want to date you, and I feel like they lose a little bit of the oomph. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the story quests in the game because I just feel like they're phoned in, if I'm being honest, but I'm also a Skippy McGee. But I'm a Skippy McGee because I feel like there's so much filler. But like even the Ayato quest, it's trying to show off that he's like this omniscient, super smart guy, but I feel like he just cheated. It's like, oh, I knew everything that was going to happen. I played you from the beginning, and I didn't really resonate with it. I feel like a lot of the character backstories would be really interesting to learn. I want to learn more about Razor. Who is Xingqiu exactly? I want to see this stuff. Now, I'm going to summarize this one in what I think he's saying, and that Asian players have a lot of phones. And MiHoYo, or Hoyoverse, caters to those phone players, aka Genshin is a mobile game and it can never reach its true potential. And while I do understand that mobile has its limitations, it's also pretty incredible what they have put on the phone. That being said, I do agree in some cases that the potential of this game could be more if we didn't have to worry as much about space limitations. A lot of the content in this game are events that go away so that they don't take up space on your phone. And I honestly think that that's one of the reasons why I'm not enjoying it as much long term. There's no long-term systems that they're adding in for long-term players. So what are we supposed to do? There is nothing to do. And so yes, I do agree. Maybe the storage issues are a big problem. Eula is overhated, and no other unit really functions like her, the way her burst can stack up for big damage. Her uniqueness is not talked about enough, and physical units deserve to be treated better. Now, I don't know if she's hated. I think a lot of people are obsessed with Eula. It's been over a year since her last rerun. People have been waiting forever to get a chance to use her, but I do think that physical does have issues from time to time. The characters that can support them aren't as juicy as someone like Xingqiu supporting Hyperbloom or Xingqiu supporting a Pyro character. A lot of the physical units don't have as much oomph behind them. There's C2 Jean, maybe Yunjin. There's a couple different things you can use, but I do understand that maybe the physical units are in a tough spot. Almost like Geo characters. It seems like it's a very, very niche playstyle with not a lot of great options. And then Eula being one of the best options, she's I mean, most people that are playing right now have never even seen a banner for Eula. So what do you expect? Theory crafters are essential to the game, and they are the most important part of the community. I mean, yeah, they're valuable as hell. If you don't know how good a character is, and you're super penny pinching on your Primo Gems, the strength of the character is very important. If they're hot, that gives you bonus points. But a lot of people are focused on damage, and you kind of need those theory crafters because there's a lot of hidden stuff in this game. There's a lot of things that are really frustrating to test, and without theory crafters, all of us would be lost. Limited time events should be added as side quests or Archon quests after the corresponding event period ends. Now, if this is referring to something like the Albedo quest, absolutely. Some of the biggest lore for Albedo, who Albedo is, where Albedo comes from, one of the coolest quests with like a little twist at the end, is gone. No one can see it. Nobody can play it. It just doesn't exist anymore. And that is dumb. That is brutal. A lot of people would love to experience those quests on Dragonspine, and you can't. And, you know, it's a tragedy because maybe with the storage space or whatever it is, they have to do these things, but a lot of people are unaware of Albedo and who he really is. People that hate on theory crafters and content creators that make guides when they say that their favorite character isn't meta are the reason we have characters like Dory and Dia as they try to spread copium levels of positivity. Now, this one is spicy. Listen, I think that there's a lot of people out here that they defend their favorite character to a weird level. I'm talking a creepy level. They don't exist in the real world. They are video game characters, but I made a video about the otaku, thing, and I don't want to get into rude territory, but I think that there's some people out here that need to grow up a little bit, or they need to just maybe open their eyes to how they're acting online. I'm not the nicest guy 24/7. I get that. But some of these people ravenously defend their favorite character, even though statistically they might not be very good. It's okay to think they're hot and to think that they're cool. But if the numbers say this character is weak, then, wouldn't you want them to be stronger? C6 Bennett isn't as bad as people make it out to be. Yes, it may mess up a few team comps, but it opens up doors to more fun comps at the same time. Here's a fun fact. I'm going to C6 my Bennett next time I play. I honestly, I'm going to C6 Bennett. I'm going to make a video about it because it's been too long. For the amount of characters that have been added to the game, there's almost no reason not to do it. A lot of people were worried about future characters and Bennett ruining their builds, but a lot of units like Ayato, you can't change the infusion from his Hydro. And so, who cares? If my Bennett can then make Shang Ling hit even harder, it's a win. I can use those units together and get more value. If I can always, for the most part, 100% infuse my Diluc's blade with fire, that's a win. And give him 15% more pyro damage while I'm at it. If you're gonna use Bennett, then abuse Bennett. Use that pyro, get that damage, and use him in comps that he's going to benefit. Because realistically, yes, he can buff anyone with attack. Or you could buff your pyro units with attack and more pyro damage, and just isolate him and put him into teams with pyro units. Him being a pyro unit and being paired with another pyro unit automatically gives you synergy, right? And you can funnel particles into each other. Listen, I can make a whole video on this, and I probably will, but yes, I agree, let's change the narrative. Content creators sugarcoat their opinion on characters because they don't want backlash from the community and never really give constructive opinions on characters. Listen, some people are absolutely in bed with Hoyoverse and they can't speak negatively. I am blacklisted from the content creator program, and people reached out to see if I could get back in, and Hoyoverse instructed that I would need to delete all of my videos that are constructive on the game. Any of my videos that I roast, anything that talks about a minor leak, I have to delete it. They do not want anything negative about the game being out there. And I said, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to be a puppet for Hoyoverse just so I can get a couple Primo Gems every month. It's pretty hard to trust me if I have to throw out all of my criticisms and just be fake all the time. I'm not saying that they are fake all the time. Some people just love the game, but there is absolutely a fear of Hoyoverse, but also there's a fear of the community. Some people in the community are savages. They are absolute savages, and if you roast their favorite character, they will make a TikTok about you and a death threat. Like, it's crazy. It's truly crazy. I think that no creator wants their community to hate on them, and they don't want backlash. And for some reason, if you aren't 100% Genshin, this community is one of the most negative I've ever experienced as a content creator, so I understand why. Now, this one's interesting, but I'm not sure I agree. Event weapons should go on the standard banner, and refining should work like normal weapons. While there are some cool event weapons, and I would love another way to get them, I don't think that this is it. I would rather get a sacrificial sword or a Favonius. I would rather get, the Widsith or some of these other cracked weapons that are already on the banner. But I would like a way to buy event weapons. Even if it was a ton of Mora, 5 million Mora, I would like a chance to build them or buy them. Maybe we could craft them with weapon billets. I wish there was a way to get some of them, because Festering Desire, you can't get anymore. It's a great weapon. Albedo had this insane defense scaling weapon. It's super, super good as a free-to-play option, and you just can't get it. Add a way to get them in-game, please. Hyperbloom is really good for the game, as it's only broken at low investment. I think what he's trying to say is, you could do Hyperbloom, get your 36-star Abyss, and then you could farm your other crazy artifacts for characters like Hu Tao, right? I think that's what you're trying to say, and that's fine, but also, that kind of breaks the game, in a sense, because the Spiral Abyss 36-star, the fact that you can do a low investment option and just smash it out, this is like the only content in the game that has any sort of difficulty. Why would I go and get all these other artifacts to do it a couple minutes faster? It's not worth it in some cases. I think that Hyperbloom is incredible for new players and everyone should abuse it. But it is a pretty weird situation because it almost devalues your artifacts depending on where you are in the game. But I think it is good. I just wish it was in the game from the start because I would have played the game completely different. Hot take. Yai Miko is one of the best characters in game because as a mobile player, the fact that you don't have to attack to do damage makes her extremely valuable. Now, I'm actually going to consolidate this one with a couple other ones that I saw saying bow users suck, Ganyu sucks, I hate playing Ganyu. While Ganyu is boring, I get it. I think there are a lot of mobile players that do not want to do charged attacks. It feels terrible. And I've played on my phone multiple times while traveling and just being too lazy to come down into the office. I think that anything that makes mobile feel smooth is a win. And it's one of the reasons why I love Ayato. You swap to Ayato, you press a button, shing, shing, shing. Everything is dead. It's super easy to use. So I do think that it's interesting, why he loves Yai Miko. But even with the buffs recently, she's way up there in value. I quit Genshin and started to enjoy life. The daily grind is brutal, boys. I have been playing far, far less, and I'm far, far happier. Coincidence? I think not. Chi-Chi is not useless. She's a queen. That is it. I'm sorry to tell you this, but she is boring. Listen, please continue your free-to-play King series. I like watching it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I let you guys down. I just can't do it anymore. I can't do the quests. I can't do the exploration. I don't think that it'll ever return at this point. All your genuine Genshin takes would make up for the perfect Genshin hot takes video. Are you saying that all my takes are trash? I was right about Klee! I was right about Klee! This one's juicy. I hate most of the personal character stories and chapters. I love RPGs and exploring storylines, but the character arcs are conversations filled with so much fluff, and the dialogue system takes so long to get through it. I'll be stuck talking to A for 15 minutes about milk. Yes, I get it. A lot of the quests feel like dates. A lot of the Archon quests have so much filler. There was another whole thesis statement in here. I didn't quite read it on this video, but I do think that the story at times is very overrated and filler. And without a skip option, being able to skip a lot of that stuff, I'm sorry to tell you this, I don't care about Denyerzod. I don't care about NPC 55, and I don't care about NPC 81. I just want to understand, why are the Fatui messing with me, and how do I take them out? I want the meat and the potatoes all the time, and only the meat and the potatoes. Fans are more about big damage in one screenshot, like Raiden Burst or a Eula Burst, but they don't realize that characters that do smaller damage, but more often, like Ayato or Sino or the Wanderer, are also really good. I've been saying this for a long time. My Ayato clears content insanely fast compared to some of my other units. It feels like he's way better, and maybe he just has better artifacts, but I feel like there's a lot of value in units that can attack multiple enemies, have multiple AoEs. Ganyu's Burst or Ayato's Burst, ticking down and hitting multiple enemies. You don't realize how much damage it's doing, but when you spread it out over huge areas and huge amounts of enemies, it's really, really cool. For the amount of revenue the developers have made with Genshin, I don't believe that they're treating the players right for their commitment. Primo gains, resin cap, artifact grind, all these things should be altered. You're preaching to the choir. I've talked about this thing forever. Every single time the anniversary comes around, it's going to happen again. Just a few more months, they're going to announce the anniversary. It's going to be 10 wishes. It's not enough for how many people are playing, how many characters are in this game, how difficult it is to get long-term, primo gem income. You get a wish a day on some games. You get tons of free stuff in some games. This game is bone dry. I've gotten more free characters in Raid Shadow Legends than Genshin has ever even come close to. Everyone roasts games like Raid, and it is 20 times more generous than Genshin. And Raid is notorious for being like penny pinchers and charging their audience a ton of money. Raid is better than Genshin at being generous. What? As an older player, exploration became a big turnoff. After you figure out how to solve the puzzles for the newest region, and you have to do 3,000 of the same ones to get 3 wishes overall, dude, I am having less and less fun with the exploration as well. And when Sumeru was coming out, I kind of explained, if they don't add some endgame or long-term systems that change things up, I don't know how long exploration is going to keep the player base hype. And now the desert, there's more stuff. There's been some fun puzzles, there's been some good quests, but thinking about the next region, going into Fontaine and doing it all again, for me, it is a little bit daunting. Chi-Chi is not bad, people just hate her for losing 50-50. Wrong! She's bad! All standard skins look better than the purchasable premium skins. I mean, Ayaka, for sure. For sure. The Kaching one, kind of nice. I think the Diluc one looks pretty cool too. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? My hot take is that nobody in this comment section is actually giving hot takes. They're frozen as hell. It always seems to happen. Here's my hot take that everyone will agree with. But it does make some interesting content. If you want to leave a genuine Genshin hot take, maybe I'll do another one of these videos. Sound good? Just go on there. I'll sort it by new. I'll go to all the newest ones. Give me your hot takes, and maybe we'll do another video if you liked this one. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.